What's good? What's good? What's good with your peace and blessings? Welcome once again back to D.A.P. Yeah, 2 shows in a row we have here now. The Councilwoman-At-Large goes by the name of Denise Wilkerson. Say hi to the people, Denise.
Listen, I'm so excited to be on this couch.
No
you
doubt.
have no idea.
No doubt.
It is good to be here and talking with my Jersey City peeps.
Word.
I'm excited, man.
No doubt. We go back like green machines.
Yes, way back. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I remember Denise from back in the day. I'm so happy to see that you're doing your thing and you're making it happen in Roselle. That's a blessing. That's a blessing.
Thank you
so how was your day so far?
Oh man, it's exciting. First of all, you got to get up, you take care of the house. But guess what? I got a long line of events today.
Word.
But I don't mind it because I love this work, man. Being
That's
with
what's
the people and just connecting, it's amazing.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about. So, being the person that's the councilman at large right now, and someone else is trying to take your spot, I guess, you know what I mean, and you're running again. So what do you plan for the taxes? How are you going to keep taxes low over there in Roselle?
Oh my God, you go with the tough question.
Straight to the point. Straight to the point.
Listen, he is not giving me any brain cells. We go way back.
Straight to the point.
But I appreciate that because
No
that
doubt.
is actually very important to a lot of residents.
Right.
And we do have a strategy for taxes.
Right.
I've been in office since 20. For 6 of those years, we have kept the municipal taxes flat. It was very important to do that too. We were in the middle of a pandemic. We had to do what we had to do, keep people employed, and then to keep the municipal taxes flat.
No doubt.
But we have a long way to go, and we've got to keep doing it. Roselle taxes have been traditionally high. When I came, in fact, that's why I ran for office, because the taxes were high and we had moved from Jersey City and planted our roots in Roselle. I'm like, look, we're staying here.
No doubt.
So we're going to do something about it. And so that was one of my commitments in office, was to keep taxes flat. There's a real strategy there. Roselle is such a peculiar kind of town or borough, because we don't have big industry. So here in Jersey City, you'll see you have spaces where there's factories and big commercial buildings. That brings in revenue. Roselle is mostly all houses.
Wow.
All houses, which mean the burden of those taxes are on residents, which is a little, unfair, but that's how the town is designed. One of the things that we've been doing, there are a few commercial places, and we've been making sure that they pay their fair share.
Nice.
So you'll have something like a big restaurant, let's say like, not singling them out, but they've been here for decades. And let's say they haven't been reassessed. But a resident, you put a fence up, you put redo your kitchen, you're reassessed and your taxes go up. And so we've been doing something called reverse tax appeal, where we go and look at these commercial properties, see who's paying taxes that are relevant to the market that is current today. And we go and we take them to court and we appeal their taxes, and then they have to pay more. Making sure that everybody is paying their fair share is a real strategy. And we have brought millions back to the borough in assessments because of that reverse tax appeal process. So that's one, going on after those commercial properties, making sure that they pay what they're supposed to pay for. Also making sure that, that we bring revenue in. As council people, we don't get to just sit there and, have these increased costs and then just put it on the backs of the residents. I think we have to bring in revenue. And as chair of redevelopment, we brought in over $1.5 million in redevelopment project revenue to offset taxes last year. It would have been worse, right? But the fact that we brought that revenue in, we were able to make sure that increase was not more than $20 per household. And so bringing in revenue is our responsibility. Now, I don't know if you remember, Jersey City had a townwide reassessment. A few years ago. Roselle has that same problem. The town has not been assessed since 1988. That has to happen. You don't have balance in the system. And so we are on the list for the state to be reassessed. All of the elected officials, I know it's not easy, so I never shame previous elected officials because it's not easy to serve. But, that hasn't been done since 1988. And you know what? Our administration is going to have to take it up. We'll do what we have to do, and what's required by law. And I think that will add balance to the system. And I still believe we can cut costs. I think there's real opportunity to do that.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Great answer. Great answer. So what are your key redevelopment priorities for the next term, and how will they address both economic growth and community needs?
Yo, you're serious out here.
I'm
trying to tell you, this guy is a real journalist.
I'm not on nobody's side.
Okay, so you know your stuff, and I appreciate that. But I'm the chair of redevelopment and have been for the last couple of years, and we've been really working to build out Roselle. You see other towns around us, they're building out, and we're looking the same as we did decades ago. Right. We have various projects. I am great at lobbying for money. My job, I'm town-wide, so I don't have a specific ward to look after. And so I do what I can for the entire town, bringing in revenue. I brought in over $26 million in grant funds, right? Nice. We have a management team that I created that we just go over and try to figure out what money to go after. We received $2 million from the federal government to revamp Chestnut Street, which is the center of town. So that's one of the projects that we're very excited about. And we're not going to just fix from first to third. We're actually going down by the Pinholes area. It's a very famous bakery, and a new restaurant is coming, Kakoya, and we're going to build out that area as well. So we're very excited about that. Nice. We have St. George Corridor. That's right. Like I'm trying to explain to you, but when you come off the highway, St. George is like that state highway. Right. We have plans to revitalize that area. We did a survey a few years ago, and people said it's scary to walk down that street.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. So we have been taking that feedback and working on it. We currently have a mixed-use apartment and retail at the bottom building coming on St. George. You see it on Linden side. We have watched progress for decades happen in other cities, but we are bringing it to Roselle. No longer are we watching progress, but we're making progress. Nice. And so we have a building coming there. We have the IHOP development that's coming. Remind me to ask me about IHOP later on, okay? We have IHOP coming. That project is still happening. Nice. We are working hard on it. We also have another development coming on St. George, the Picaro family. They've been here for decades. They own a whole street from Drake to Harrison. They came in and they showed us kind of what they want to do, and they're going to have a rooftop restaurant. Like, we're really going to bring that area up. Nice. Our plan for redevelopment is not to change the beauty of Roselle, which is all the homes and tree-lined streets, but to take those external or exterior streets like St. George and First Avenue and build those out. So when people come past Roselle and drive through, they're going to say, that's a great town. I want to see what's in there. So yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Good answer. Good answer. All right, Liberty Project. The new $17 million library is a significant achievement. What measurable impacts has it had on the community so far? And how will you ensure its long-term success?
Yes, we're so excited about that project. It's a $17 million state-of-the-art library project. I started that project with a previous administration, and I stayed the course to see it through. When they left and resigned, my job was to make sure that thing happened. Nice. And so I did everything from like picking with the team of people, the mayor, Councilman Bernier, the president of the library board. It's a team of us. Did everything from picking the carpet out to the bricks so that it matches there's a historical part that we didn't want to tear down. So I wanted to make sure the bricks match closely. And to see that building up is amazing. When I moved to Roselle and dropped my kids to that library, it was a little box and kids were falling out of it. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Wow. And so now to see this big building here, it's amazing. Nice. It's a cultural hub. Right. Minority communities like ours, having a library like that says a lot. I always say you can judge a community by the state of its library and how seriously they take the arts. Makes sense. And so this library is amazing. There's major technology. It's not just for kids. You can book a conference room and have a meeting and collaborate with people with screens and do presentations. Nice. It's really a hub for the community culturally. But the other thing is, that we have designed that building in a way that it becomes a hub in the case of a disaster. So, right, we're thinking about not only everyday serving and supporting literally the literacy advancement of our community, but also where we need to gather in case of an emergency. And there's generators, et cetera, on there so that we can have communication if ever there's a disaster. So long-term planning, man. We just opened in November, and the plan is not to have that library just do something for the community today, but for decades to come. We're super excited about it.
Was it difficult to get that money for that project?
So the original project was $11 million. We got a $5.5 million from the state, and we were going to have to pay the other $5.5 million. So as we sat there with the new mayor at the time, Mayor Shaw, which is the current mayor, we said, there's no technology in here. Yeah. Like, how you going to build a big building? People use their cell phones. Yeah. They got to be able to charge. Right. Your alarm systems, all of that stuff wasn't really thought of originally. Yeah. And so we added that to the project, and smart boards, all that stuff needed to be in the library. And so we added that to the plans, and we needed more money.
Right.
And this is where the who's in the seat matters, because we have great relationships. One of the things that I do is spend a lot of time building great relationships from the federal, the state, the county levels. You got to have a serious person in office that understands how to do that. And so I am so appreciative. Our Senate President, Senator Nick Scutari, he made sure that we got another additional, I think, $4 million. Senator Joe Cryan, Assemblywoman Annette Chiano, like they all kind of helped to make sure we got additional state funding. The county gave us money. The county actually helped manage that project with us, the UCIA. We've just been blessed to really have good relationships and people to support. There are some communities that had to shave down their project because they didn't have enough money. So we're lucky.
Yeah, that's a blessing, man. That's definitely a blessing. Wow, y'all doing your thing. You're doing your thing.
Man. Yeah.
That's definitely a blessing. Next question is going to be youth programs. You've expanded youth programs and secured like 100,000 in state funding. What new initiatives are planned to, further support Roselle's young residents?
Yeah, this question is interesting because I think you have to admit when what you've tried has not worked.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So we actually started for 2 years. We've had programming youth night at our community center. The community center traditionally has been heavily used by our seniors, but we said we're going to make space for our young people to come in and do it. Yeah, okay. So we brought gaming systems. We put a surround sound, made sure that they're able to have movie nights. In addition to the gaming consoles, we put computers in so they could come in and do their homework. And while we do have some regulars that come in, it is by far not enough to serve the entire community of our young people. Right. And they don't necessarily want to be in that space. And so that's why we are actually building a new youth center. Nice. We've got grant dollars. We're building our Roselle Youth Center. It's going to be right by Sylvester Landfill. And I'll talk about that in a bit. But we know we've got to do more for our young people. The fact is, we talked about taxes. Right. Yeah, we can build what the Joneses have, and then you can't afford to be here to see it. Facts. And so we do things with grant dollars as much as we can. We got grant money to build that youth center, and that's what we're going to do. And it's going to be a hub for our young people. So we'll talk more about that maybe in redevelopment.
No doubt. Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up. Mentorship initiatives. Can you share updates on Roselle Women on the Move mentoring program and its impact on young women in the borough?
Yeah, you've done your research.
Yeah, man. About that? Yeah.
You in Jersey City, you know what's going on over there.
I'll be talking to a lot of people, man. I'm like, let me see what's going on over there before she come on here.
I respect you, my brother. I respect you. Okay, no this doubt. Is serious journalism. Okay, so Roselle Women on the Move is actually an amazing thing. It's really the fabric of how communities work.
Right.
So a few years ago, I every year I do a annual Women's History Month event. It's amazing. It's Roselle women with other women coming into the town to help pour into our women. And I mean, women are crying in the room. Wow. Like we're really, it's just not about, oh, I'm great, I got this title, be like me. No, it's like there were times when I didn't think I could make it. I pushed through and here I am. And so it's an amazing event. So the women after one of those events said, look, we want to do stuff in the community. We want to be able to, help young girls too. And so I said, okay, whatever, that's what government about. They say government can't do social work. Yes, we can. And so Roselle Women on the Move was birthed out of that. They've been doing amazing things, mentoring young girls. We took, God bless Congressman Payne. He was a great friend of mine, as well as my congressman. We took the young girls to Washington, D.C. Nice. We've connected young girls who were artists to actual painters and made sure that they learn the craft. Yeah. We have speakers coming in to mentor them. It's an amazing thing, and I'm very proud of the women who actually volunteered. But I do want to say one thing, okay? People do a lot of talking.
Come on,
and,
man.
This is where communities like ours, when the negativity and all that negative talk really hurts us. I remember when we took the girls to Washington, D.C., you know what they said?
What they say?
I was raising funds because if you do business in my town, you need to support this town. Right? So I go to anyone who's doing business with the borough, you should be donating. You should be donating to organizations, doing whatever you can, right? So we went and we got sponsors for the trip.
Got it.
They said that I had people pay for me for a personal trip to Washington, D.C. When there's pictures everywhere of Congressman Payne, who personally toured us around the house, mentioned us on the floor of the house, Roselle Women on the Move. It was an amazing experience. He did not come and be like this congressman. He sat with our babies. He really spent time with us the entire day. And for your community to turn that into something ugly is ridiculous. I want our community to realize that negative talk is just crap. You got to stay away from it. There are amazing things happening in Roselle, and Roselle Women on the Move is one of those things, and I am so proud of that. It's a borough initiative. It's a borough group, and we're just really happy of the work you do. Thank all of you ladies for everything that you do.
That's what's up. That's the blessing. That's the blessing. Wow, that's deep. It's amazing how rumors can get more attention than the positives. So that's weird.
Gotta be smart.
Yep, exactly. Political landscape and leadership. Primary challenge. You're facing a primary challenge from councilmen, from other people, and you're facing you're challenging other how can I say?
Yeah, there's competition on the ground.
Competition. It's competition. Competition. So, how do you differentiate your leadership and vision for Roselle, in this context?
Okay, so the person who's running against me, they've been on the council the same exact time that I have since 2018. They think, I think recently she said she was on the council for 10 years, but it's actually 7 years we've been on there. And you can look at the body of work. My work speaks for me. The amount that I do, how much that I've put in place here in this borough, everything from bringing in grant dollars to working on this library project to, really trying to build Roselle up is what we're working on. Right now, we just built I remember when I was first walking and a resident told me, she said, listen, you guys do nothing for people with special needs. We come to your events and we sit on the side with our wheelchair and guess what? We feel excluded. And so we made a real initiative. I talked to the mayor about it. He created a multicultural diversity and inclusion committee committee, and we took a real effort to actually pay more attention to those members in the community with different abilities.
Right.
Not only do we have events specifically for them, but we make sure we cater to them for other events.
Nice.
We are now building with grant dollars a $1 million special needs park that will go live at the end of the month.
Okay.
We are super excited. We're doing the work. So if you look at my body of work, I think the choice is clear.
Wow.
So we'll just say that. But I stand on my work. I'm proud of what I've done for Roselle. And I know I have the heart and the passion to do it. And I'll keep doing it because I love this work. I love my community. And we've got more work to do.
That's what's up. All right. All right. So party unity. Given the internal divisions within the local Democratic Party, how do you plan to foster unity and collaboration moving forward?
I think I want to say this because I think this works even here in Jersey City. And the problem exists here. When you have that, the chaos and the lack of teamwork, and we're infighting in the party, guess what? It becomes a distraction. It keeps you from really having momentum. And so it's not good and healthy for us. We recently, our Democratic Party is fractured in Roselle. And we just recently lost a seat to state representation. We don't have any representation on the county level. Right. We don't have any representation on the state level. And we don't have any representation from Roselle on the federal level. When you are locally fighting, there is a price to that.
Yes.
And at some point we have to stand up. And guess what? We have Republicans. They're not really large in number in Roselle, but they have a voice. And how long do you think that you're going to sit there and fight each other? And you know what? And I really don't want to say it, people, but I'm going to say it. A lot of times it's us fighting us.
Ooh.
And it doesn't really help. It doesn't really work. If we could all focus on the work we've got to do, it's all about personalities, who doesn't like who,
Egos.
who thinks, exactly. Yeah. And so that's what happens and keeps us from working together. And it really is a disservice to the community. It's a disservice to the Democrats that actually believe in us and voted for us to be on that Democratic Party. I'm a member of the Democratic Party. It's fractured. We lost all our seats. There's a real problem there. And I think even nationally, we got all these people running for governor. It's time for people to start standing behind someone so we can win this state house. Because guess what? It's going to be a problem if it turns over. And so Democratic Party, we got to get it together. We can't keep fighting. We have got to get it together.
Wow, you on fire this morning.
Listen, we got to tell it like it is. Morning, noon, or night.
Wow, Mr. Wilkerson over here keeping it real.
No, you got me on the hot seat.
That's what's up.
You asked me, I'm going to tell you now.
I know that's right. So now, let me say, what continues to motivate you to serve Roselle? You seem very motivated. You're energetic about it, and you standing 10 toes down. You're standing on business. And how have your personal experiences shaped your approach to governance?
I think, God really prepares you for a position. Right. You know what I mean? And so as I was going through my life, I never knew that, some of those things were not so good. And so you didn't really realize, you're like, God, why? Why me?
Yeah, why me?
But it's to prepare you for a greater role. And so I do believe, my brother Rob, he was killed by gun violence. I support, Pamela Johnson and her work in the anti-violence field. It gave me a space to give back. But now as the councilwoman, I realized that the policing is important and the kind of policing we have. One of the things that I love about our police is that we don't have a situation where our police are aggressive with our minority community members. They really do care about the community. We have strategies for dealing with people with mental illness. Right. You read it all the time. Someone gets shot because they're answering the door or the family called for help. and then they get shot. Right. So just understanding all of those experiences, and as a Black woman in a community with police that wasn't always nice, I'm ready to make sure that the police that we do have is one that respects the community and serves and understands the service part of the job. Facts. The other thing is that I've been poor. I'm poor.
I know that's right.
Let's keep it real. Like, I'm not the girl running around with red bottom shoes and Louis Vuitton pocketbooks. I know what it is for your house to struggle.
Right.
So when I get on that day, it's my job is to try to keep that burden off of you as much as possible. I've seen what redevelopment looks like in a town. I toured every town that there is that's doing work. Jersey City, Elizabeth, I mean, all over Westfield. So I said, listen, what are you guys doing? How do we bring that to Roselle? You understand? So watching other people develop, understanding how they're doing it, it has allowed us to develop in Roselle. And so we are working on these projects. We will get them done. Everything that you do becomes a point or experience that you can build on. And I thank God that I have many experiences, even in business. I was a top African-American executive in my organization, the director of e-commerce, traveled the world, had to be in situations, London, India, just various places. I thank God for that. But it taught me to respect the differences of others. How to interact with other cultures, how to respect their culture, how to really find common ground to work on and build together. Okay. And I think in a diverse place like Roselle, that actually matters and helps.
Definitely. Wow. Nice. Woo, that was deep. This girl on fire this morning.
Can't. Wait the sound. Don't you got the sound thing for the... I love you, Dave. I love you.
Wow. Damn it, man. All right. So, looking beyond the next term, what is your long-term vision for Roselle, and how do you plan to achieve it?
I really do believe so. Roselle is the first village in the world, Dave, to be lit by electricity. Thomas Edison did that in Roselle. Wow. Okay, so when you read about Thomas Edison, they don't tell you about Roselle. Wow. That's the first place. We are the example to the world. Yeah, no, we are very historical. We are the example to the world, and we can still be that.
Nice.
We can really set the stage for what should happen in Union County, what happens in the state itself, and to the world at large. And I do believe we can do that.
Nice.
You have some towns that are building out and it's overbuilt out.
Right.
Right?
That's deep. Yeah.
So it's just an industrial apartment or whatever. Yeah. We're going to get it right where we are actually going to keep the character of our town while still building out in a way that brings additional revenue. The goal for me in the next term is to make sure service is premium that we deliver to the residents. I get calls all the time where there's someone who says they applied for a permit, they haven't gotten anything back in weeks. It shouldn't take that long. There's technology in place. So right now we're implementing across all of our departments a system called SDL, Spatial Data Logic, and that's going to give us the ability to know when the tickets come in, who's touching them, how fast are they being responded to, and really see where those service gaps are. And then guess what? We're going to improve them. We're going to close them out. We're going to make it better. And that really is the strategy long term. I think residents, when I got to pay their tax, I just want to have good service. No doubt. And so we're working on that, and we're going to get it done.
That's what's up. Well, why you? Why should I vote for you? Why should the residents vote for Denise? Why you out of all people? Why should they vote for you again?
It's one of those things that you don't want to necessarily kind of boast about, right? But I do thank God for the work. I thank God that I was able to actually deliver. There's a lot of initiatives that I have delivered. I show up for our residents.
Come on.
I'm at King Yetters. They call me the funeral and banquet councilwoman.
Wow.
But I do go to these events because I do believe that, I know what grief is like. I've lost in the last couple of years so many people, my dad, my mom, my mother-in-law, just died last year, Maddie Stevens. She's from Jersey City. And we've seen that grief. So when people they lose their loved one, man, and the town act like they don't even care.
Yeah.
You know, that's not good. And so I do try to go to a lot of them and make sure we honor the life of our residents. But I'm there for this community because I want to be. Not because it's election time. And I think people see, and I went to a door the other day and the lady said, you know what? I'm voting for you because you're always there. You're always there. Everything that the borough has, you're there. You're there from beginning to end. You don't leave. When I go to a church, I don't go to the church, speak, and then leave. Nope. I have service. We praising the Lord today. Right. You understand? And so people see that. I think right now we have people. That's interesting. People in the landscape. There's an array of people running for office, right? Yeah. My seat, other seats. All of a sudden you see them. They're at events, they're taking pictures. The same pictures that they complain that I take, say that I'm promotional. No, I spread good joy because guess what? People should know that giving and caring and being in your community is cool. Yes. And if they see it, maybe they'll do it. But they're doing it now, posting the pictures that they complained about so much because they want your seat. They want your vote. Right. They're only here. And then guess what? They go away afterwards. I'm here. I've been here. I'm going to be here for the long haul. Vote for someone who's going to stay here. Yes, I've had opportunities to run for higher office, but there's work to finish here in Roselle. I am not going to bail out on you. So many people have left us. Previous mayors resigned. Wow. I'm not resigning until the job is done. I'm going to be here until we get this work done. Roselle deserves better, and I'm going to be a part of that movement to get it done. So vote for me. I'm going to be on column 2E on the ballot, but vote for me because I am going to be here for the long haul. I'm not bailing on you, Roselle. I'll be here. That's what's up. That's what's up. So how can residents best share their concerns and ideas with you? And how do you incorporate community feedback into your decision-making process? Oh, that's a good question. So yes, the best way to get to me and to really give me your ideas, I literally take ideas all day. Some of the cool stuff I do, you know, it's not me. It's a resident came to me and said they wanted to do something. Word. I'm going to give you a human moment that happened. We were at an event, an entrepreneur showcase. So I do every year a showcase for local businesses that can't have storefronts. And we really just allow them to take over the Borough Hall parking lot and display their products and sell. We don't charge them. You're a Roselle resident, you do not get charged for your vendor table. Oh, okay. Just let people know you're here. Yeah. And so it's an amazing event. They do a commercial for TV and we play it. And then I was there at the event and there was a woman. We were talking about domestic violence, and I'm a domestic violence survivor, conqueror. That's how we're going to think about it. And she was too. And we were having a conversation, and she said, "Well, you guys should really do something about it. No one even talks about it." And I said, "Listen, I can do it, but I need you to work with me on it. So at the end of the day, guess what? You can give me an idea, but I'm expecting you to work with me on it." Come on. And we put together a domestic violence forum dinner, and we actually had amazing women at the table, not only talking about their experiences, but talking about things we can do to help other women and men that are experiencing domestic violence. So you give me your ideas. Let's have a conversation. Call me, email me. But I like conversation. I'm a talker. So just call me and let's talk about what the idea is, what we need to do for the borough, and then we can get it done. It's easy. It doesn't take a lot to get things done. So please contact me. I'm open to that. Residents, we also do surveys. We did a survey years ago to see what people wanted to see in town. That's how we knew St. George was scary, because that's what the people said. That's why we're working on it. We have a survey going right now for local businesses to see what people want to see in town. So that we could bring those businesses to town. So we do surveys, etc. But a phone call always works. I have an office in the borough. Come on in and sit down. Let's talk about it. No doubt. Any last words you want to give to the people in Roselle about Denise Wilkerson? Any last words? Yeah. I think I just want to share a little bit of my heart. That when my mother died, Dave, it took me there. I can imagine. And I can imagine. I really was like, when your mother died, you question everything. You like, should I even be doing this? Is it even work? And at the time, they were. I was in the, election for the Democratic chair, and they knew my mother died. They sent a letter the day of my mother's funeral. A letter was in my mailbox that said, "Listen, we doing this meeting." They used that period to come after me. You understand what I'm saying? That's how dirty doggy dog it gets. And so I really was like, is it even worth all of this?
You felt like giving up?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
What made you stand 10 toes down?
Don't make me cry about this.
Hey, man, that's deep. That's deep, man.
What made me stay is because this is the work that I'm assigned to do, man.
Come on, man.
I'm assigned by God for this. My mother was so proud of me for this work. My grandmother used to give in her community through the church. My mother gave in this community. She had a lot of buildings and provided low income housing. She helped many businesses with storefronts they would have never been able to afford. And so I remember my mother saying to me, she said, with the rents, she would never charge, or when people couldn't go for the rent, they couldn't pay their rent. She said, give them time.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a little chance. And she would they would actually pay their rent, months later, piece. Remember the sweet shop back in the day?
I think we lived in one of your apartments.
Yeah,
on Dwight Street.
You did.
We lived on one of your mother's buildings, and she was always kind.
No, just amazing.
So this is where all this comes from.
This is what it is. This is what it is. And so, families used to come to the store, and they would just they didn't pay. They would write their name down.
It was called,
what did they used to do?
They called it credit.
Yes, you had your little credit line at the store.
Exactly. Right, the corner store,
when no one else gave you credit, you would come to the sweet shop and get it. But the reason I decided to stay, I'm telling you, that hit me so hard. I was not prepared. Even though she was sick, I was not prepared.
Right.
And so I decided to stay because that's who we are.
Yeah.
That's what my mother designed me to be.
Yeah.
And she ain't never been a quitter.
Nope.
She ain't never been a quitter. And so I didn't quit. I'm here because I want to be. I'm here because I love what I do. I'm here because I love my folks here in Roselle, and they deserve better. Who else is going to fight? Who else is going to stand up to the people? Let me tell you something. I don't answer to anyone outside of Roselle.
Come on, man.
And if they don't come with something good for Roselle, I don't care. It's federal, state, county government. Then we can't play. Guess what? If it ain't benefiting Roselle, guess what? But guess what? I'm lucky that we have great relationships and they do come to help Roselle. But at the end of the day, I'm here for the people of Roselle. I love you guys so much. I love the borough. I've moved my family there, and we love it, and we're going to fight for it. And that's why I'm still here.
Well, thank you so much.
You made me cry, Dave.
Oh man, that's what it's all about. I wanted to keep it real, you know what I mean? And you kept it real, man. So I appreciate you accepting the invitation to come on that, man.
Listen, let me tell you something. This couch is something else, man. You guys got to get down here. I love it. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And what you do. So you do it. You were up last night. You were out doing stuff.
Yeah.
You have so many business entrepreneurial moves that you really should be teaching people about it. Because I watch you and I'm proud of it. And then being able to give people a voice through this show,
that's what it's about,
is amazing. Yeah. And so I'm so proud of you too, my brother. Okay?
Thank you so much. Much love and respect.
Yes.
Thank you. I would love to have you back, especially if you win.
On the other side of victory. Yes, that is. On the other side of victory.
No doubt. Much love. Denise Wilkerson, y'all. Much love and respect. Thank you. Peace and blessings. Good.